technique called washing, and you grade the colors into each other. That's what we're doing today. So check out our love cards with the cute flower or cute heart there, and then we have all the different colors. So I'm going to list the colors on my website so that we don't have to go through it, but I will talk about it as I'm doing it. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got a watercolor cardstock cut the size I want, and I don't add tons of water. And then I go ahead and start on my top, and it's kind of just random, and I like it to look kind of random, and then I add a little bit more water as I'm going to get the color blended. To get the color blended, I leave a little bit of that color on there, and then I'm adding a little bit of my next color. Maybe I'm going to add them together. And then I'm going to kind of blend them up. See how I'm doing this with a little bit of water, blending them up? Okay, then I'm going to get my washcloth or paper towel and let this clean this up. So that means that I'm going to get some water going through and make sure that he is just the color I want. And then see how that kind of gives you a bold color? All right, next we're going to grab the Peekaboo Peach, and I'm going to add a little bit of the Flirty Flamingo in there with it, just so I can kind of mix it, and some water looks great. And then clean it off. Add some water. See, I'm just pushing water as I'm going here. And get to your next color. And don't worry, this does kind of fold up as you're going, but see how fast it is? All right, I'm going to mix a little bit of that Peekaboo Peach with my Daffodil Delight. Now, Daffodil Delight has a tendency to be really bold. If you want that look, then go ahead. But if you want a little bit less of a bold color, maybe add a little bit more water. And that's just what you do. How you do that is by squeezing. Okay, next we're going to do Pear Pizzazz or green. And just kind of blend that in with the yellow. All right, clean up your brush again, your Aqua painter, and then go ahead and add, oh, so that is so beautiful. All right, so I'm going to leave a little bit on there and add my final color, which is my Pool Party. Okay. And there was very little room left for full power Pool Party at the very bottom, but I think it looks just fine. So it blended very nicely. I see one spot I didn't like how it kind of, so sometimes you can go back with a little bit of water and kind of smooth it out. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. All right, sweet. Okay, so now what you would do is get your painter's tape, which I already have some here handy, so I'm going to grab some. And then what you would do is, I'm going to do this to the side so that we don't have it displayed. But then I would put this on all edges and just tape it flat and let it dry. And then voila, you are done. At least with that portion of it, which is just awesome. Okay, one note, if you have dry paint and then you have a lot of wet paint, I just learned this. So if you're watercoloring and you have a portion that's dry, then what kind of happens is the dry portion, the wet portion will bleed into the dry. So if you don't want that to happen, I would work quickly so you keep it all wet. Or I would let it completely dry before you're wetting it again. All right, just taping this down, so give me a second. See how fast that was? And just depending how light or dark you want it, you can add more water. That one probably turned out a little darker than my other ones because my other ones were kind of more of like a subtle wash. So just depending on what you want, you can do it that way. All right, almost done. Okay, so this is off screen, you can't see it, but we're gonna go ahead and get to the next part, which is cutting with the Big Shot. I gotta close a couple of these. I'll just edit this part out of the video. Do you love all the colors of the rainbow? I totally do. It was fun to use it for this. Okay, so as you can tell, I used the cutters and I put them on a magnetic background. So it just kind of keeps them in place. And I'm going to use the heart that's in there and the love. You can use hope if you want. Just make sure you have a little bit bigger of a piece of paper. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the Big Shot up so you can see this. Sweet. Okay, so you got the Big Shot in. So what I do with the Big Shot is, I just want to show you all the pieces here. All right, so this is their new platform, the Big Shot platform, and then it comes with a thin die adapter. You do need both, so they are going to be on top of one another. And then you're going to put your oh my goodness. Then you're going to put your precision base plate down. And the reason we do that is because these are so intricate. See all the little holes that we have to cut? So it helps it go through. Now I like to do this at one time. Now be aware that it can slide because this is not magnetic. And then go ahead and put your clear top on and go ahead and run it through. Now you can't see this, maybe you can right here. I'm holding it as it goes in so that it prevents some sliding. Once it's in, it's locked. And then I just hold on top for a little bit of extra sturdy help here. And then we're gonna go all the way through. And I feel like going through once is just fine, but let's see how those cut before we take them off. Oh yeah, that cut really nicely. Okay, let's go ahead and move the Big Shot out of the way. Okay, to get all our little pieces out, I like to use a, I'm sorry. I like to just use a, what are these things called? My goodness, I cannot remember. But you know what I'm talking about. I just get one of these from this cooking store, and then it just pops out all my little pieces. So you want to get all the little center pieces out first. If you find that they're not popping out very easily, which is somewhat happening here, then you might want to run it through the Big Shot machine one more time. It's just up to you. Sometimes that gets it so that they pop out a lot easier. And if you need to flip it around and see which parts pop out, I would totally do that if I were you, because there's so many little mini pieces. Sometimes when you flip it around, you can get the pieces out a little easier. Okay, we just have one more piece right here. And now I push softly so that I don't dent or harm it, but a lot of it's already coming out. And if you have some already coming out, just grab the edge that's coming out very slowly and pull it out. If it's not pulling out very easy, you can put your toothpick through the spot that's getting stuck so that you're not going to rip it. And now that looks pretty good. I love it. So yeah, the reason we don't want to poke too much on the gold is gold or silver, sometimes it leaves little marks. But that looks great. So I'm going to take care of all our extra pieces that we just don't need and just throw those out. Okay, let's go ahead and do the love. Now what's cool is you can keep this love piece right here for another card if you want, which I tend to do. I am a big use my scraps type of a person. I don't like to waste anything, so if I can, I'm going to save it. And then my love is already coming out. That's what's so nice about the precision base plate is a lot of times these little images just pop right out pretty easy for you. Okay. Setting that aside, so as you can tell that these go with the same set of cutters. All right, all done with that part. Let's move on. All right, so I am still letting this portion dry, so I'm not going to be able to show you what I did next, but I'm going to explain it to you. Okay, I grabbed my baker's twine, basic black baker's twine. I wrapped it around twice, and on this edge over here I tied a bow with both edges and cut my bottoms of my ribbon. Sorry. You will put this on first with your multi-purpose green glue or Tombow, and make sure that you don't get this outside left side there with Tombow because that's just floating and you don't want it to stick anywhere. So go ahead and get that down. Then you can go ahead and tie your ribbon. And after that's done, I put two little small dimensionals. So I did a dimensional and cut it in half and cut it in half again. So it was in a fourth. And I used them just along the bottom of the O, the V, and the E. And then that will help me kind of pop it up. And then with glue dots on the back, I put down my little sequins, and I made these sequins kind of pop up 3D, so all you have to do is bend them. The back of your cardstock, once you have everything all together, flip it around and you're going to put your glue dots on, or your, not glue dots, dimensionals. And with one this big, I would go ahead and use the full hexagon times 4 and one in the center. I don't think I did one in the center, and this kind of is flat in the middle. So that is it, you guys. Oh, I'm losing my voice. I've done way too much talking. But thank you for tuning in to CMC Stamps. And if you want to see any more of my videos, check me out at cmcstamps.com. Sure appreciate you. Come again.